Oh, right, guys, we're going to be reacting to the third part of foreigners in Russia. Very interesting. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and that way we can get to those 100,000 subscribers, guys. Like, share, and comment. Let's jump in.
Yeah, and I moved to Moscow then I was 16. I think, yeah, I studied here and start to work here. I have here the family, the child, the wife. So the Moscow for me is the second native city, in my opinion.
Maybe we should speak about how girls
I want to,
in Krasnodar.
I want to ask you about girls in common, Russian girls in common.
No, bro, this is another story.
In common, yeah, I think it should be like a episode just for that. But because I think for us, the culture shock when it comes about women is huge.
Yeah?
It's a completely different story.
You know,
how we are being, how we grow about women. Like again, I grew up between States and Europe and South America, so it's quite similar over there. I will say
in LA it's very similar.
Yeah, I will say
especially out there. Yeah, it's
Latin American culture when it comes about women is more similar to Russian culture. Yeah.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Nope. No. Not even close. Not even close. Nope. No, not even close. The reason it's not even close because the Latinas, they have a reputation, this is my opinion, of being very toxic. Not being very toxic. If you're talking about Central South America, maybe you can make the argument. However, it's a little bit different for the purpose of they're not Europeans. So they have a very different system. Right? They have a very different system. Maybe the Moscow girls, they like more money or less money. I don't think so. And I think, and a lot of people have said that Latinas tend to mask traditionalism easier than Eastern Europeans. But that might be my opinion.
Yeah, they're really, you know,
Yeah,
it's really similar about the roles of the feminine. Yeah, the American, we are.
I mean, the Western world have another conception of all that thing.
Yeah, it's more about, you know, we're all the same.
Women are, well...
like not the Western world. I would say like in the U.S. itself. Because there's different countries, or Europe, right?
Yeah, Europe's the same right now.
Because there's different, I lived in many different countries, especially after I left the U.S. and, you know, women just have different values in different countries.
Sure. But I think here it got really specific to the point. For me, it was really hard the first 6 months when it comes about women. I was going dating. I have no problem with dating. It was going marvelous.
Had a lot of
beautiful.
Dates.
Yeah, it was just perfect. Language barrier. I didn't know what was that. Just Google Translate. That was it. It worked really well. I have no complaints. But then you got to the part like you need to pay for everything, even for the taxi. And you know when you just move here.
Yeah, that's normal for us.
Yeah,
no, but for me it wasn't a problem
as a
because
Latino,
in Africa
you know,
we have
I'm a
the same
Latino
thing.
American. For us, it's also
Forcing
normal.
For me, it was shocking to the point like I don't know if I want to. You know, I'm really used to like split 50-50. That was the thing.
Yeah, but the thing is that here's the thing, like. What a lot of people say about the Eastern Europeans is that they're very traditional and they expect you to provide. If you're taking things serious, if you're not taking things serious, you should not pay for anything, man. I'm keeping it 100. But if you're about to just get into a serious relationship, you are the provider. You have to take responsibility for that.
How I was kind of.
If you.
Но ты знаешь, тут тоже есть проблема. Вот в Африке, например, да, как в южных странах есть такая концепция, где...
В Африке именно...
Ну, в Африке и все южные...
В Камеруне?
Да, нет, Африка
вообще
вся.
В Африке?
Вообще в Африке. Это во все южные. Когда я говорю южные, я убираю западные страны. У нас такая концепция, что мужчина должен добиваться как-то женщину. Он должен показать, что
подарки.
ну, не подарки, но он должен показать, что он предприимчив, что он может сам делать как-то, видишь, да, он может заботиться. И он проявляет свою заботу, вот, убирая от головы женщины вот этих мелких вопросов, как я доберусь, что я буду кушать, или вот все эти мелкие вопросы, мы их сразу же убираем, берем на себя, это пустяки как-то. Но сейчас в России происходит вот такая проблема. Девушки местные взяли всю эту концепцию южную, когда мужчина должен заботиться о женщине, приумножили ее на 100 и убрали их ответственные моменты, которые их мамы и бабушки знали всегда.
Да.
То есть они все это убрали и оставили себе только вот эту красоту, там, где я же девушка. Блин, это полная фигня сейчас.
Давай так, ну не все девушки.
Я же не буду.
правильно.
Ну смотри, когда я говорю все девушки, я скажу, когда ты сейчас смотришь какие-то ролики в
Вот эти
интернете,
нет, ролики
это
в Инстаграме.
единственное, что сейчас пропагандируют.
Да.
Но рядом же мы живем с другими девушками.
Да,
и даже
да.
те, которые там говорят, пожалуйста, они говорят одно на камеру.
А в жизни совершенно...
в жизни, пожалуйста, там в Залупе, в этом, там в Ховрино, где они живут, блин, там совсем все по-другому, понимаешь?
Всем подписчикам из Ховрина привет.
Блин, у меня подруга из Ховрина, меня убьет что-то.
I want to ask Jonathan. So you met your wife in Beijing.
Yeah, we met in Beijing.
And after that,
Okay, from Beijing, we moved to Krasnoyarsk, Siberia. And then we lived out there for like 2.5 years.
and what's your impressions about Krasnoyarsk?
About Krasnoyarsk, you know, Krasnoyarsk, it's a whole different world. I mean, Moscow, they say Moscow is a whole different world than Russia itself, right? But in Krasnoyarsk, I got to experience like, let's say, I felt like I got to experience like both worlds of Russia.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because they're like, you have the old school Soviet style housing and architecture that's still out there. You know, like big wooden houses. There's a lot of them out there. Buildings that are like prehistoric sites that can't be touched, right? And then the other side of the city is like modern Russia. You see modern new cities, modern buildings, and you know, it's a whole, so you got to experience both worlds, right? The only down part out there was that there's very seldom people that speak English or Spanish, you know, or Chinese. Oh, actually, there's a lot of Chinese out there too. You know? Yeah, there's a lot of Chinese out there. Yeah.
And how about people there? The Russian people.
Oh, you see, the Russian people there, let's say, they're very serious, you know?
And they're not
Serious,
smiling.
like what?
It seems, I don't know what it is, right? Maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the air. You know? There's the thing about the air out there. It's like it's very polluted out there. You know, it's very polluted out there. There's a lot of pollution, especially in the winter.
In Krasnoyarsk,
I remember my first trip to Krasnoyarsk. We was in the plane, and the pilot said that today the weather is very great, so you will enjoy it. We have minus 28. So I was like, what? So for them, minus 28, you know, in winter is like good weather. You can take a walk with your friends.
Yeah, it is. So I'm telling you, it's like a normal day out there, winter, like minus 30.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I'll tell my friends, God damn, it's minus 30 today. They'd be like, oh, it's normal now. I'm like, normal? Okay. I mean, I went like 3 pairs of socks. Yeah. After like 2.5 years, when I got my permanent residency, like the VNZ, right? We decided to move out here to Moscow. And then, you know, Moscow was a whole different world.
Yeah.
You know, it made me fall in love with Russia itself.
Moscow is like another Russia.
Yeah, it's a whole different world out
it's
here.
very different. No, but the whole
But it's still Russia.
Yeah,
it's
of
a
course,
different part of.
Well, it's a city. It's a city. It's a city. So you have conveniences, right? So it's a bigger convenience area. The thing is that you have to ask yourself whether or not they're okay with Russia becoming an international or multinational city. That's the big question. Would or will Russians be okay with that?
But Russia is, but it's essential part of everything is connected, because that's something I got a lot. So when I first moved here, I used to say, I love Russia. And a lot of people just correct me, Russians, like, you don't love Russia. You love Moscow, and Moscow is different from the whole Russia.
Yeah, it's true. You know, it's true.
So this comment got me really annoyed by after a few months. So I decided to travel around Russia. And even though it's different, like LA is different from Kansas, like San Francisco is a whole new story
it's
from,
a whole world,
from LA. Like people like San Francisco, and I say, oh my God, you're from San Francisco, it's so nice and warm over there. I'm like, no, we don't have that weather. San Francisco is the
LA
cold,
weather.
you know, the cold California part.
Yeah,
it's
that
like
is cold out there, it
windy, it's
snows out
rainy. We have like a week of sunny weather, and everyone is like, oh my God. Every day else is just shitty weather. So it's the same thing. Of course, those cities are different from the rest of the country, but they still feel connected by culture, by architecture, by people. Yes, some of them develop faster than the others. Once again, you can go to San Francisco, we have the Golden Gate. Tell me where you get that everywhere else in America, right? It's just the same dynamic in every country, but everyone here is always like, Moscow is not the same. It's not even like Russia. It is Russia.
No, I think it's not the same, but it's similar.
True.
Yeah.
But again, the comment is always is not even like Russia.
Yeah.
It's always you get these comments.
Yeah, it's true.
So that encouraged me, like, all right, I'm gonna travel. So I travel a lot, and as I said, I saw, yeah, it's connected. It's the same. It's more developed. The same thing is
you
more.
know what?
LA 's
Usually I hear that from that part about Moscow. It's a different world than the rest of Russia is, but I usually hear that like outside of Moscow itself, from the people themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like in Krasnoyarsk, the people themselves would tell me like, hey, Moscow's a different world than what it is out here in Siberia.
Well,
you know?
it's the same thing. Like, I'll give you a short example. I live in Maryland, Baltimore, one of the oldest cities in America. And for them, New York was a different world. That some people there, it's just 4
Damn,
hours.
Baltimore's a different world. Baltimore's a damn different world. New York City's a different world. It's so different, man. I used to live there in New York City. Different world. Hate it with my gut. Love the pizza, though. Love the pizza, but I didn't like it.
Hours away
Yeah, you know,
by train.
I lived in Boston for like 2 years, and Boston was a whole different world than LA.
Exactly.
You know? Everything, like in every aspect, you know, the people, the environment, the safety, everything, in every way, yeah?
Yeah.
It's like
Well, there you go. Yeah, I guess so. But I would love to hear you guys' opinion. Please answer that question. What do you guys think of Moscow becoming a multinational city? Meaning, I'm saying multinational, meaning that you go there, you speak English. You don't speak mostly Russian and all that stuff. I would like to know you guys' opinion on that. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.